I'm in the county of Cleveland today at Stewart Park in Marton, and we're going to be having a look around the park at some of the different animals and exotic birds that are kept here. And our tour guide and expert for the day is the park's manager, Kenneth Sherwood. Kenneth, welcome to the programme.
Hello.
Now tell me, what exactly is the park for? 'Cause it's a smashing place.
Well, it's here for the benefit of the people of Middlesbrough. Yes, it is a really lovely park. It's the birthplace of Captain Cook, and we have the Captain Cook's Museum here. But you've come to look at the animals, and you know, we have a lovely pets corner here in the park.
They're kept in natural surroundings, are they?
Yes, as much as possible.
Now, where do you get the animals from? I mean, the cattle behind us, what exactly are they?
Oh, they're Highland cattle. They originate from the Highlands of Scotland. You can see the woolly coat on them to keep them warm, yes. Yes.
And how did you get those?
We started off, we got 3 from Manchester parks, and we bred the rest. We have a bull and we breed the rest.
So you bred them here yourself?
Oh, yes, yes.
That's smashing. And what about any other animals?
Yes, we've got the Formosan Sika deer across the other side. Would you like to go across
and
have a look?
Yeah, can we have a look?
Yes.
Ken, these are the deer behind us. They seem quite happy in there. Where have they come from?
Well, the Formosan Sika deer, but I got them from Bridlington. I started off with a pair from Bridlington Parks, and we've bred the rest.
Well, how do you get them from there? You buy them from Bridlington Parks, do you?
Well, buy or exchange. We do quite a bit of exchanging among parks departments, yes.
How have they taken to live in here?
Oh, very well indeed. Lovely creatures and settle down very well indeed.
How tame are they? Well, you know, because obviously they get lots and lots of people coming around and looking at them. Will they come to the fence to see the people?
They'll come to the fence and take fruit. Quite a number of people come on a morning to feed them, but it's surprising. They're tame when you're outside the wire, but when you go inside the compound, they're very, very timid indeed.
It's when they become shy. In the next field, Ken, over there, there's some, well, is it a pair of llamas?
That's right, yes, we have a pair of llamas.
How are they? Are they not, they're kept separately from the deer, are they?
Oh, yes, they've got their own pen. They've got the sheep in with them.
Where did they come from?
Well, we've just acquired them, actually. We've only had them a few months, and they originate from Peru.
Have they settled down okay?
Yes, very well. Yeah, they chase the sheep a bit, but other than that, we've found no problems at all with them.
And give them some exercise.
Well, yeah.
You've got guinea pigs and rabbits that live together as well, haven't
Yes, we have. Guinea pigs and rabbits. Most of them in the park are donated by people. We find we get requests each week from people where they've had a pet rabbit and the children are now possibly left home, gone to university or something like that, got a job, and they find that they want to give the rabbit to a good home, and they end up here in our pets corner.
Now the llamas have some friends with them, don't they?
Yes, they've got sheep, Jacob's sheep and St Kilda sheep, and I think there's a Swaledale sheep as well in with them. Also, of course, there's the rabbits running about, and geese, and some of the ducks.
What do you feed the llamas on?
Just fed on the same thing as we feed the cattle. Hay, dairy nuts, just ordinary cattle food, chopped turnips, and of course grass.
Are you hoping to breed them in the future?
Yes, we should. This is what we do hope. We've got a male and female, and we do hope that one day we'll have a baby llama.
How many peacocks have you got here, Ken?
We have about 11 peacocks, and we started off about 18 years ago, and we got 6 eggs, and we put them under an old broody hen, and we managed to hatch 5 of them. And from then on, we've bred the rest.
But what about dogs? People walking around with dogs?
This is by far my biggest problem, and I think many parks will experience this. We allow dogs in the park without being on a leash, and we find that especially the Labrador or the Terrier type of dog are the ones which do chase our animals. We lost a wallaby killed last year with a Labrador dog, and we lose quite a number of geese and our waterfowl with dogs. Our next problem, of course, is foxes. We're subject to a lot of foxes around here.
Ken, we have a smashing collection of horses here. God, have they been fed? It's going mad. What are they used for, Ken?
Oh, we use them for children's rides in the parks. We have the donkeys as well, and summertime when the children are off school, We have pony rides in our park.
It's in the bucket again. And you've got a cart horse, a really big cart horse called Britain.
Yes, that's right.
What's he used for?
Well, we've just acquired him. He will be used to pull a cart and probably promote some of our things in Middlesbrough, and also he's based at our farm.
So he's still quite young at the moment.
Oh yes, he's just turned 3.
Ken, thanks very much indeed. Can I give you the bucket? Because I'm going mad.
Right, thank you.
Spicy big coat now. I'm going across to meet Ron Taylor. He's going to show me around the aviaries. Thanks very much.
Graham, thank you.
Ron, you look after the exotic birds that are kept here at the park. What different sorts of birds have you got?
Well, we have flamingos, we have parrots, we have parakeets, we have lovebirds, and we have conures.
And what different countries are they from?
Well, they're from Africa, South America, and Australia, India, and China.
Are they warm countries?
Some of them are warm, but on a night they tend to get very, very cold. So, of course, they have no problem acclimatising to our weather.
They settle in quite well here, do they?
They have, yes, very well indeed.
And how do you look after them? Do you have to do anything special for them?
Well, they're fed every day, of course, and then they're given fresh water every day. And we feed them extras like bread and milk, honey and bread, and mixed feed diet.
And what about the flamingos? How tame are they?
Well, they're not tame at all. No, they walk about, but if I go near them, they tend to run away from me.
Really? Where did they come from?
They came from Kenya. They were imported by Mr. Douglas Moore, who this collection belongs to.
Ron, do you have any favourite birds in the park?
Well, we have the red-shouldered macaws, which we hand-reared from the egg earlier this year. There's 3 of those. And there's also the Queen of Bavaria conure, which is extremely popular with everybody. It's very, very tame.
And how old are they now?
They're about 4 months old.
Are they still tame?
Yes. They'll climb on your shoulder, walk on your hair, pull some of your hair out, actually. You'll let them.
And how long will they stay tame like that?
Well, as long as I keep going in, say if I go in 2 or 3 times a week, they'll probably stay tame for a lot of years. One of them, it's particularly tame. The other 2 are starting to go wild, but if I go in and bother with them, make a fuss of them, give them some food, then they'll come to me, and I think they'll stay tame for a long time.
Ron, the Queen of Bavaria conure, that's a real mouthful for a name of a bird. Do you call it anything else?
Well, it's known as Queenie to the general public.
That's easy, you can say that.
People come round, they fetch bread and milk for them, and cake and stuff, and they tend to feed her through the wire. And of course she comes and she has a little dance along the netting for people.
So she's quite tame?
She is tame, yes.
Do you hand rear her yourself?
No, she's an adult bird. We think she's probably about 15 or 20-year-old. You know, we're not sure just how old she is.
Would she breed in captivity?
She would if we could get her mate for her, but we've never managed to get her mate yet.
Why? Whereabouts do they come from?
They come from Brazil, and in captivity they're extremely rare. We call her a queenie, but we're not really sure that it is a hen bird. It could well be a cock bird.
Is it unusual for someone to keep one of those birds as a pet?
It would be, yes. Yes. Usually they're kept in zoos, our bird gardens.
In this cage here, you've got crimson-winged parakeets. Where are they from?
They're from Australia. Very, very widespread in Australia. Also found in Indonesia as well. In there's only the one cock crimson wing. He just gets the red on his wing when he's 3-year-old. Until then, he's all green.
Beautiful colours, aren't they? Because they've got yellow on the top of their heads.
Oh, well, they're barrabands.
Oh, there's 2 different sorts in there.
Yes, the ones with the yellow and the red moustache, they're barrabands, cock barrabands. The hen barraband is the green bird next to the cock bird. They don't get the yellow heads until they're between 2 and 3-year-olds.
Ron, 2 gorgeous red macaws in the aviary there. Where are they from?
These particular birds are from Brazil in South America. They're birds of the jungle. They tend to live actually in the jungle itself, in the tops of the trees.
And whereabouts did you get them from?
We got them off a lady who was packing up keeping birds. She found them too destructive to keep.
Do you think do they find it easy to settle down here? Because you said they come from the jungle, which is a very warm place, and of course this country is very cold. How do they take to the cold weather?
They take to the cold weather extremely well. We've had no problems with these birds. Once they're acclimatised, they're okay.
Does that take long?
Well, if you get them in the winter, you must keep them inside until May or June of the following year, and then they can stay outside from then on.
What do you feed them on?
We feed these birds on apple, bananas, sunflower seed, pine nuts, peanuts, hemp seed, just a varied diet, honey and bread, milk and bread.
That's the sort of thing you'd find in the jungle, really.
Yes, yes, they'll take chickweed and other weed seeds as well.
They came from a lady in Berlin Waterford, you said.
Yes.
Why did she get rid of them?
Well, she found them extremely destructive. They do a lot of damage. They tear the boxes to pieces, they tear the nest boxes to pieces. They'll tear the aviaries to pieces as well.
Really? Well, how tame do they become?
Well, you can, if you took one in the house, you could get it extremely tame. But these birds have been kept outside all their lives, and they're not tame at all.
Well, how would they take to you if we were to go in the cage now?
Well, since they're not breeding, we could go in quite easily. But once they start breeding, they become extremely vicious, and they will actually fly and attack you.
You have to protect yourself.
Well, I tend to go in with a dustbin lid and keep them off. This is only when they have youngsters.
Is that bad?
They are, yes, very, very savage.
How long do they live? To what age?
50 to 60 years as a rule.
It's a fair
yes,
old time.
yes.
Is there any way you can tell their age now?
No, once they become mature, at about 3 or 4 year old, there's no way to tell. No.
Ron, thanks very much indeed. And thanks very much for showing me around the park today. I've had a smashing time.
Right, thank you.
And my thanks also to Kenneth Sherwood, who's the parks manager, for allowing us to have a look around his park. You may remember quite a few weeks ago now I said we'd be visiting Richard Borley at the RSPCA's South Godstone Animal Centre in Surrey. Well, here we are at the centre. Richard, a pleasure to meet you again.
Thank you.
And you brought your daughter Lisa along.
I have, indeed.
And we're going to be looking at today hamsters
And gerbils.
and gerbils.
Yes.
Smashing. Now, they look very much alike to me, except a gerbil seems to have a long tail and a hamster a very short one. Are they from the same family?
No, they're not at all. They're from the same part of the world. In fact, the hamster comes from Syria, and the gerbil comes either from Libya or Mongolia. They're not related at all. The gerbil is a desert rat, and the hamster is an animal of its own.
And do they both run wild in these countries?
Yes, they do. The difference between them basically is the hamster is a loner. He likes to live alone in the wild as he does in captivity. You'll find they have their own burrow and they live in their own burrow. In captivity, they're far happier in the cage on their own. You can't mix them. You could mix a couple of female hamsters if they were born together, but you still run the risk of fighting. They are absolute loners. And of course, they're nocturnal. And as a pet, they're pretty hard to find because they come out at night when you're asleep. And it is known that they can go on this wheel for about 3 kilometres a night. The exercise they need is great.
I remember we used to have a hamster and it used to go around its wheel all night and you used to hear the wheels squeaking through the night to keep the wheel well oiled.
That's right. This is what they do all night long. They're not a pet that you can handle very much in the daytime.
What are the physical differences between the two?
The hamster is a squat animal with very short legs. It usually weighs about 4 ounces. I think this one's overfed about 6 ounces. It's got a short tail and, as I say, is a loner. The gerbil is a rat. It's a desert rat. It hops around the desert like a kangaroo on these very large hind legs. And there's no comparison between the two at all.
So, Lisa, while we're looking at the hamster cage, if you put the hamster back in its big cage and get hold of a gerbil so we can have a look at one of those. Richard, this is not a full-size cage, is it?
No, it's not. It's the type of cage one would use, but in miniature. This is very good for carrying. As you see, it's got all the facilities that a hamster needs. It's got a raised bed
Yeah.
in a little box so that it can make its own nest and food store.
That's essential, is it?
It's very essential.
Why a raised bed off?
Well, because they like to climb up to the bed.
Right.
And they dirty it down in the corner underneath. So if you keep it on the ground, you'll find they'll soil their bed. So by having it raised, you save them soiling it. Also, there's an exercise wheel. As you see, this one is going into the wheel, and it's got its food containers, which you can take out and clean daily. But you would need this about 4 to 5 times bigger than this. And also, you would need more toys for a hamster. They do play with a lot of toys, seesaws, and they like tubes to run through. Because it's a very lonely life because they're on their own. So you must give them all the facilities you can to keep active.
Now, the sleeping quarters, what do we fill it with?
This is a viscose filling. Never use cotton wool. They suffocate in cotton wool. Some people use cotton wool. If you can't get viscose filling, you can use tissues and paper. They will chew it up into their own nest. But so many people make a mistake of putting pure cotton wool in, and it's just not suitable for them to have a bed.
Right. And on the floor?
Sawdust or peat, anything to keep them dry, and so that when they soil, they can cover it.
So from a pet shop, really?
From a pet shop. We find that you can get some sawdust from your local woodyard as well, which is a little bit cheaper.
Right, let's have a look at the large cage. What should it be made of?
Always metal, because these are rodents and they're gnawing. If you can see, this little hamster's gnawing through. Always metal or glass or heavy plastic.
We've dealt with the hamster cage.
Yes.
Let's have a look at the gerbil cage. Is there a difference?
Yeah, there should be a difference. You could use this for a gerbil, but it wouldn't be satisfactory in as much you wouldn't be able to put enough better flooring in for it to burrow. And otherwise it wouldn't be suitable. You'd need something with a high front in order to fill it so it could burrow.
Right, so a gerbil needs a cage with a high front.
Yes.
We fill the bottom with?
Peat, sawdust, something that it can dig into. It's got to be dry, of course, and get under. This is their natural environment, is to burrow all the time, you see.
Right, so obviously they don't need an exercise wheel.
Yes, you can. Toys, again, all rodents love toys, so yes, an exercise wheel. Tubes, cardboard tubes are one of their favourites. Any toy for those as well, that they like to play around, and it keeps them occupied. You've got to remember that they are playing when you're asleep, so you do need to provide further facilities for them.
Right, Richard, what do we feed them on?
Well, diet is important. This is a mash which we make, or the owner can make. It's made up, this one's made of a puppy meal, flake maize, fish, and you can use meat, which is given to hamsters daily, and it's given to gerbils twice a week.
Right, we have to remember that. So
Yes.
hamsters daily,
Daily.
and gerbils twice a week. Right.
And you must remember also on this mash that it mustn't be stodgy. If it's stodgy, when the hamster pouches it, as they do all their food, put in the pouches, they cannot eject it. They have no salivary glands inside the pouches. So anything which is stodgy or sticky, you shouldn't do. This is quite a dryish mix.
So where are the hamster's pouches?
In the side of its face.
And how long does it store the food there?
It stores it from where it picks it up to where his store is. He has a store where he keeps all his
It
food.
doesn't keep it in its pouches
No,
all
no,
the
no.
time.
They just carry it. It's a carrying device. And then when they go back to the store, they eject it out and they keep it. This is their food store. And again, on the food store, you shouldn't keep disturbing it. If you clean the food store once a week, that is plenty. But if you disturb every day, they lose confidence because that is their own little private domain where they store their food.
Right, and gerbils don't have pouches.
Gerbils don't do that. So gerbils basically feed on things like this, which is sunflower seeds, peanuts they're very fond of, mixed grain, as you can see, flake maize.
Where do we get this from? We buy this in a pet shop?
Yes, it's done up in a mix, in a gerbil or hamster mix. And if you want to increase the sunflower seeds, you can buy them separate and mix them so you have a better mix.
Right.
But they're very, very fond of these. And of course, back again to the fresh foods.
Mm-hmm.
So many people forget these, Graham. They think that, oh, that's enough. It
Yeah.
isn't.
No.
Here we have fruit, apples, carrots, and dandelion leaves. And again, with the dandelion leaves or any greens, you must make sure they're thoroughly washed and dried because of herbicides and pesticides.
Now, if we're putting this food on the bottom of the cage, it's going to make it messy. The hamster or the gerbil obviously messes the bottom of the cage.
Yes.
How often should we clean it out?
Every day.
Every day.
Where they soil, you clean every day. Of course, this isn't put on the bottom of the cage, it's put in little feed containers you can see in the cages, and they take it from there. But a hamster has a food store which he keeps as his very own.
Right.
A gerbil doesn't have a food store, he just eats. And another thing, a lot of them like a drink of milk. Not many people know this, but they do like a drink of milk. So if you can give them a little drink of milk each night, that's very good for
And
them.
the obvious one, fresh water.
All the time. Fresh water all the time. Although you won't see them often drink water, but it's so important.
And do you put it in a bottle?
Bottle, yes, you can put it in a bottle. In these cages, it's in a little container. But this must be... A lot of people have bottles and then forget to clean them. If you have a bottle, just as you do a water container, it must be cleaned daily. Not once a week, but daily. And this is why we don't recommend bottles to people who are going to just leave them there for weeks. We say everything must be cleaned daily. It's the hygiene of your cage that keeps your animal in tip-top condition.
Right. Now, Lisa seems to be the expert on handling them. So I think we should have a word with her. She's got the gerbil out now. Is he difficult to handle?
Not really.
You keep telling me he bites.
Yes, well, that's because of all the lights and everything.
Oh, I see. But they do bite, don't they?
Yes.
You've got to be very careful with them.
Yes.
He moves very fast as well. Is it okay to hold the tail like that to hold them back?
Yes, you have to hold the tail at the base because if you hold it at the top, it might come off.
Lisa, thanks very much indeed. Richard, thank you. It's been a pleasure meeting you again.
Thank
I think
you,
you've told us quite a lot more, than I thought there was to looking after hamsters and gerbils.
Pleasure.
And I'll see you next week on Graham's Ark. Bye.